Okay. My favorite part of Dreamforce, Ohana coffee on Saturday. Yeah.
My favorite thing about Dreamforce, as usual, is the family reunion. Getting to see people you only see maybe once or twice a year. Also, the learning. The learning is great.
My favorite part of Dreamforce is being able to hang out with my tribe.
This is Two Wit, a podcast for women in tech doing life. I'm Melinda Smith.
And I'm Kristi Guzman. We're doing life.
Ooh, we're doing and I'm on location in Scottsdale. Yeah.
Because we work in the cloud, so we can be anywhere.
I can be
I
anywhere.
did overhear somebody the other day, like,
we tried...
it's saved in the cloud. And I was like, oh, so cute.
Do you remember that movie that Jason Segel did with, I think, Cameron Diaz? What's in the cloud? No one knows what it is.
I'm pretty sure it's called, like, Sex Tape. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That's 100% it.
So, what's going on?
So, obviously, this post-DF, post-Dreamforce episode, but I also want our peoples to know that it's not all post-Dreamforce, and if you didn't go, it's fine. You can still listen to this, and you won't feel like this is the most terrible podcast ever.
What did you learn? Or what else you got?
So, they've been talking about the myTrailhead and, like, the trail mixes. So I haven't paid a ton of attention to it as a consultant. Just it's not something I get to do anymore, which kind of sucks because I really like the training aspect. So seeing at Dreamforce, like the myTrailhead, being able to customize for a company is pretty awesome. Because I remember, I think it was when I was in California, there was a moment, like Trailhead was still kind of new. And I'm like, God, it would be so great if we could turn around and use it internally. And I'm like, well, that's not a thing. But it's a thing now.
Because that's what happens. You see a thing and you're like, how do I make this a different, better, bigger thing?
Yeah, right.
And you just give it some time. We go badges, then we go super badges, then we go projects, and then we go myTrailhead, right? So I think it'll be...
And super badges are tied to my annual bonus now. Like I got to go finish one. I got to finish the lightning rollout one. Yeah.
Sorry, was that the end? Is it my turn now?
Yeah, that was it. I'm good.
I had a really great time at the Lightning Roadmap session, which is really interesting because it plays into the Lightning Now events that they're doing around the country, around the world, really. And I think I might go to one in Raleigh next week because I really love seeing what they're thinking about and seeing like in what other software world do you literally get people to clap because you release, I can't even remember what it was. Just these features they're talking about stuff what they've done and then where they're headed. And just the idea of that kind of sharing and collaboration and information, right? That it was just great. Like you literally had, he joked that it was like the heckler row because there was a bunch of MVPs that were in the session, but we're asking questions. And again, just things that, they know haven't been there for Lightning, right? It's not full parity. Like this is a known fact, but just being open to that. And it was really great. So they do a similar piece at the Lightning Roadmap. So I'm kind of excited to see that again. Cause I like to see, when you're not in it every day, all day, every day, it's easy to forget like, oh wait, Lightning can't do this one little thing I do all the time, but then like, oh, but it's coming in the next release. So it's a nice reminder.
Is that the thing I went to? Lightning Now? No, Lightning Now is different than Lightning Roadmap.
Lightning Now is a 2-day. So the first day is kind of reviewing stuff and reviewing like rollout ideas. And then the second day is actual hands-on, half-day admin, half-day developer, where like, even if you're not a developer, you can stay. And so Kristi is like, yes, I can do this. And then like, like a few minutes in, a few hours in, I'm like, well, I could follow the steps you're giving me, Rick Ruiz. You're the best and I love you. But you might have lost me. But of course, always great knowledge to know that it's possible that somebody that's not me can build components and the kind of options they have. But but it's a great free 2-day course. And what's really interesting, I heard a story about it, about, some people, I believe on the marketing team got together and were kind of presenting the idea of this concept. And I'm pretty sure it was Parker. This is a really great story since I can't really confirm any of the details. But we were talking about the power of C-level people and how someone presented this idea of we want to go on the road, We want to talk about lightning. We want to do some hands-on. And he was like, yes, I want to see 50 of them by end of year or whatever, right? Just like, yep, yes, that and this, done, bye. Like, yeah, and just how they thought, a few, right? And then it becomes this whole machine. So it's just really interesting thinking about, he probably was sitting in this meeting and it looked like maybe he wasn't paying attention because he probably gets 800 emails an hour and was sitting there on his phone or something, but just saw this idea as a great thing and was like, yes, do that. And then someone makes the stickers and makes the agenda and makes it happen. But it's a great free resource. So yay, Lightning Now and Lightning Roadmap.
I think I'm going to try and do the world tour in London in May.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, so I'm going to try and make it happen with the hubby. And shout out to Gemma. She said that we could stay with her. And it's far enough away that I think we could make it happen, even if it's like a quick 5-day turn. And apparently the world tour in London's like a BFD. It's a big
Maybe
deal.
instead of 2 wit 1 ship, we do 2 wit 1 double-decker bus.
Do not even get me started. Can we do that? Like, I would really like that. I, of course, want to go on a ship. Duh. That's still in the progress if we want to do that before or after Southeast Dreamin'. But I really want to pop out there. Like, I make it sound like it's like, meh, it's a 4-hour flight, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think it's tough because the year's filling up already.
Right? I made a list of like trips in 2018 and like, personal trips and Salesforce-y things. And already I had to start axing things. Speaking of, this is an amazing segue. And it's always so much better when I call it out. You're throwing axes now? Like as a fucking pastime? I don't think I understand.
So, hi, my name is Kristi. So they opened a new axe throwing bar. Technically, it's a bar. They don't sell beer yet, but they will. Think of it like a bowling alley where like they have liquor, but that's not why you go there probably. So it's basically like a bowling alley, but instead you're throwing axes. Kind of like darts, but like an axe with like a 12-inch handle.
But dangerous.
Well, so are darts. You could lose an eye. So they just opened up. So here's the reasons I joined. Number 1, single Kristi wants to make friends and do fun things. Number 2, it's literally walking distance from my house. I don't walk there because it's at night and it's like, maybe not, but I could. Number 3, it's fucking axe throwing and it's brand new. So nobody's good at it, right? So I joined the league. You can just go and run a lane like bowling, but it's fun. And so why not, right? I got a free axe, which I subsequently broke the handle of.
Bedazzled?
Let's be real. Once they fix the handle for me, I will put stickers on it, like obviously.
Duh.
But it's really interesting. It's just like cornhole and darts and whatever, right? You get your rhythm. You have to figure out your steps and when you release. And yeah, it's been fun. So I've only been twice, but so it's a league. I've won 2 rounds out of like 10.
Nice.
But so I missed the first week because of Dreamforce. Second week, my first match, I tied. So you play 3 rounds. We tied. So when you tie, you go to what's called big axe, which is a big ass axe. And you have a special lane that you go to, and they chain it off so no one else gets in your way. It's probably a 4-foot long axe handle. You have to use both hands over your head, and you chuck this big axe.
When the apocalypse comes, like you're so prepared.
Well, to be fair, I didn't actually land the axe in the target. I mean, I threw it at the target, but it didn't stick. So I didn't win the tie either time. Twice in my first week, I went to big axe, which is like fun. So anyway, it's fun. The people are nice. Why not? No one's lost a toe that I've heard of. And, they have, just like anything else, right? You don't carry axes unsheathed in certain areas. you have to Rochambeau to decide who goes in which lane, and you have to put your axe down to do that so you don't drop it on your toe. You have to wear closed-toed shoes. You can't be drunk, So I'm sure their insurance payment is out the wazoozle, but it's been fun. P.S. I currently have 4 dogs in my home. Well, I have my own. I have what used to be my own that my ex-husband has. And then I have 2 others that I'm dog sitting for a friend whose Thanksgiving dog sitter fell through. So there might be barking.
So before we launch into post Dreamforce chats, I have been wanting to chat about something, and I keep failing a good segue for it.
What do you got, girl?
Because it seems weird, but so I created a couple chatter groups within my company, trying to kind of get it more involved with women's stuff, because I don't have a group out here and all that. And looking at the 23andMe commercials, and there's this weird fundamental thing that I feel like I have no roots.
Okay.
I don't know a lot of my heritage. I don't identify with one group. So I've always felt this way. I've always felt like I'm not Irish. I'm not Mexican. I'm not all these rich heritages that have these amazing roots. So I've always struggled with it. And I was going to do the 23andMe, but it doesn't matter. I think I've told you before, I have a lot of missing branches in my family tree that they just don't go anywhere. So I'm not really sure that would help, but having a place within the community has helped make me feel like I do have roots there. But I still feel like I just want to identify with heritage somehow. And I have none of that. I don't know a chunk of my history. I don't know my maternal grandfather. I don't know anything about him. He was supposedly adopted, but we're not sure that that's the case. So I just don't know. And I know it might seem silly to people that maybe have that. That's dumb. You have family, you have friends. And I do. And it's not like I don't have those things, but it's interesting to not feel like I come from somewhere.
Well, that's interesting, because I wonder how that plays into our connection, because I feel the same way. And when I was young, I feel like everyone had fractions, right? I'm a quarter Native American, I'm a third Italian.
Right.
And I went and asked my mom, and she's
Right,
like, "You're
yeah.
Scottish." I'm like, "No, I need fractions." What, and
Yeah.
she's like, "No, you're Scottish as a Campbell." Right? So yes, I could go look at Scottish Campbell history and my appropriate tartan and all those things, but we don't do anything Scottish. Even a friend of mine that I met that married into Campbell, they did pickled watermelon rind is a delicacy they have on holidays.
Huh.
So again, we don't do anything Scottish. So
Same. I don't have any traditions. The closest thing I identified growing up as my stepdad was Jewish. At least we did high holidays and things. I don't have any of that. I don't even have a Christmas tradition now. I'm trying to create one for my kiddo, but it's interesting. People have these rich heritages that I just have no tap into.
Well, I mean, imagine the first time I met my mother-in-law,
Right.
who's was born in Puerto Rico. My husband is half Dominican, half Puerto Rican, both coming from those countries or islands. So she asked me, what are you? And I'm white bread American. I got nothing, a woman. Yeah. So that was a funny, and trying to say that in Spanish was fun too. But yeah, I totally get it. So you feel like you've created these things, these groups, or that you are?
I mean, I have that within our community. I definitely feel like I have a home, but I guess I just always wanted to identify with a heritage, or be like, this is my lineage, or this is where my family is from. And I just don't know. And I guess I could do the 23andMe to know more, especially since I don't know a lot. Yeah, I mean, that'd be fun. We could do the results on the podcast.
Live on the Two Way podcast.
So my dad always identified with Italian. He grew up around a lot of the North Denver Italians, and it just kind of trickled into my world. But as I got older, I was like, well, no. I mean
like Italian food.
It's right. And it's just because they were your, acquired family, that doesn't mean that's our heritage. And I just still don't know. But it's such a silly thing because I'm not ungrateful for the people I have in my life and what I do have. It's just interesting to not know. I have no idea. I think I told you too. I tried to donate my eggs when I was younger, and they said no because I don't know anything about my mother's father, and they're like too close in lineage. And I was like, but I'm healthy. I could. And they were like, nope, sorry,
No room at the inn.
your eggs are no good here. Yeah.
Does Josh have any of that?
Yes. He has a lot of more like southern roots, so maybe not out of the country, but even that's something. Like there, the southern roots here, or biscuits and gravy, or like
Grits.
even that is something compared to I don't know. I got nothing.
I mean, Orange County, if anything, the things I identify from my childhood is more like Girl Scouts or scouting culture, but not
Right.
any. So I feel like we're like weaving a sad tale of non-rootedness here. Like is the answer that, but we found that in the
Yeah,
Ohana?
no, and it's not. So let me give you some levity to that. Is so seeking those roots, sometimes you reach out to old friends. So I'm in Scottsdale, and I went to high school with a girl that was, semi kind of friends with. And I was like, let's get together. Every time I come out here, I say, we're going to get together. We don't. And she does. She comes over for happy hour. And 7 hours later, I get to know her a lot better. And I was like, she is sweet and kind. And we're just so different. So I'm like,
and hopefully we'll never listen to this.
My God, right. We're very, very different. And little things here and there that we're like, oh, this might be why we didn't connect. But I guess the moral of that is you don't necessarily need to go looking for it. Like I have the roots, the family, and the family I have, and the acquired family, the Salesforce community makes me feel heard and loved and all of those things. But I would still be interested in doing a 23andMe. I just would like to know where my DNA is from.
Well, I think it's interesting. I always joke with people. I don't know if we've talked about meetup.com and how that's how I basically know probably 9% of the people I know in Charlotte is through one meetup. And I used to joke that I had to set a rule for myself to not hang out with people outside of meetup until I had met with them 3 times. Because what would happen is you would get, oh my gosh, we met the first time. You like dogs and the color blue? We're soulmates, right? And then you're like, oh, you're weird. Like, and not the way that I'm weird, right? So I think it is interesting how you can have a lot of those first level relationships, right? Or those more surface, let's get together once a year ish type relationships, but they kind of fall out as they're meant to fall out, I think.
Yeah, I do that too. I'm like, oh my God, we like 2 things. We're like best friends forever. And then you get to know someone a little bit more and you're like, oh, wow, like our political views are really different or our religious views are really different. That doesn't mean you can't be friends, but there's a huge chunk of someone's life that you can't really share, which for me, like I want to give you all of my guts and my innards and my heart. And if they don't match, then I'm like, wait, what? What are we going to talk about? I'm so freaking out.
Yeah, well, and it's
But anyway,
tough too
so
because you are an all-inner, which I'm similar, right? So I get that it's like, oh wait, I can't go all in with everyone.
yeah. And especially as you get older, you're like, oh, I have to like portion it
and
out. Like you can't have 5 like super, super close because no one gets like
there's
an
a certain
amount
of
of
neuroses
attention or
when you're
whatever.
starting it too of like, am I texting too much? Should I not call you? I think we had this conversation in
Totally.
connection, so I want to call
Yeah,
you,
right.
but then you're not answering. But then are you just like me and you're horrible at returning voicemails and text messages, but you love me? But then, right. So it's dating.
Yeah. Friend dating is super hard. But like I do love that with, any of the community events or Dreamforce too, that you do get to connect with people that maybe you don't talk to a lot. And it's okay. I feel like I can think of a handful of people right now that I don't talk to all the time. When we see each other, it's quality time, but I don't think anyone walks away saying, well, I'm not going to hear from her for a while. Like it's just life. It's busy. It's life. And on that note, I didn't say this earlier, but I pulled some sound bites from Dreamforce. So in the beginning was Lauren Tourette, if I'm saying that right, Mike Martin, and Steve Moe, and then we'll end with some more sound bites from Akia. So at the Cigar Force, I got to stay a little bit later and go to that this year, and just pulled some sound bites. And it's funny because all I said was, what's your favorite thing about Dreamforce? And without fail, everybody is community, my friends, Ohana, spending time with my people. And I was not prepped at all like that. I mean, I think I texted you. I was like, these sound bites are like life affirming, because I would hand my phone away and walk away. I didn't hover when they gave their answer.
Well, and it's funny because Cigar Force in general is because Michael Farrington, I believe, this was the 7th, I think. So, 7 years ago, it was like, hey guys, let's hang out. And now it's become, I mean, there was hundreds of people there. And it's just I didn't smoke a cigar. That doesn't appeal to me, but I got a drink and some food and just sat and talked to people, which sounds like what you just did for 4 days, except it's not, because you're not on a schedule. I mean, unless like you have to go somewhere else or catch a plane or whatever, but a lot of people take the red eye, right? So the last day, there's like this whole half a day gap. And so it really fits that need. So it's interesting how, especially during that event, I can see that being the answer, because that's like legit. I saw some people there that I hadn't seen all week long, because, that's just how it goes, right? Sometimes. So
Yep.
I think it's a really great wrap up.
Totally.
Right. So yeah, last year was my first year, and I definitely made a point to attend this year. So I'm happy you caught some people's.
Yeah, I had serious FOMO last year. I was like, all my friends are at the Cigar Force and I'm at the damn airport. Like, this is stupid. I want to hang out with my friends. Like, not even like a little FOMO, like would have gotten off the plane if I could have FOMO. Like, that it was a little more than intense.
Well, it's also tough because in planning for Dreamforce, and we can kind of get into a little recappy now. But there's so much difference in what you think you're gonna want to do and what you actually want to do. So I totally loved stopping at Cigar Force, stuffing my face because I hadn't stopped to eat anything, seeing some people, having a drink. It was great. And then I went with some lovely people to Sonoma for the weekend and just hit a wall at a moment where I just kind of looked at someone else, was like, are we leaving? Are we ready? Yep. Deuces. Right. So if you had asked me beforehand, I would have been like, oh yeah, we're shutting Cigar Force down. Right. Like, I'm going to stay the whole time and all of these people. And then I just was like, I have no small talk left in my soul. Like, goodbye. But it was great. It still was important, but I think it's interesting how things evolve. Right. And that's so tough to explain to people who've never been in Dreamforce before. Like, you have such great intentions to do certain things throughout the whole week, but sometimes the best things that happen, and I may have said this to people, but we haven't recorded since, so not on the podcast. Hey, but I talked about the lightning roadmap session. So of course afterwards we stopped to talk to the 2 PMs that ran it, one of which was Michael Orr, the other one I can't remember his name, and I'm going to feel bad about it later. So there was and we got kicked out of the room because the next session was happening, and we started walking, and there was a random lunch spot in Yerba Buena that like I didn't even know existed. And we ended up, no line, grabbing lunches, sitting at a table, and I basically had lunch with 2 PMs, Doug Ayers and Brent Downey. When else is that ever going to happen in my life? And that's why Dreamforce, right? All the sessions, all the parties, all the everything, like,
nice.
That's the stuff, right? So
I know.
Well, and that's those kind of like having a conversation with Jared Miller in line for drinks at Cigar Force. That then is a follow-up conversation I've had this week, right? Meeting some great people from Get Feedback who came to my session where I was talking about using Get Feedback, and they brought me swag and they were super supportive and they promoted it, and like just those little things I think are really, because it's so much, like having those moments. I think those are some of my key moments. How about you, Melinda?
My husband teases me because he's like, every year you go to less and less sessions. I was like, yeah. So this year, since my company was more focused on sales, I spent time working the booth. So at first, when I had to sign up for it, I was kind of put out because they asked for 3 4-hour chunks. And that's a lot. But I clarified, like, are you concerned with me learning? Is like, no, this is the biggest sales event. I'm like, oh, okay, then I get it. But I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking to people about Salesforce. They'd be like, what's a Blue Wolf? And I was like, let me tell you, we're the oldest implementation partner, blah, blah, blah. And then on Tuesday, I volunteered at the Trailhead booth, and it was 2.5 hours of a steady stream of onslaught of people asking about the Trailhead area,
What
asking
is
about
Trailhead?
what are they called? The events, the things that people do. Like the tracks. So when people went and did the things so they could get prizes. So the quests, and that was a blasty blast. Like talking to people, especially the people who are like, I've never been here, and I'm really overwhelmed. I'm like, awesome. Here, this is how you approach this room. And like, I had no idea how much I loved working the booths like this. I really enjoyed that this week. And because I was expected somewhere from 2 to 4 hours a time, there was no stress about what I was going to make it to.
It was easy to say no to everything
Yeah,
else.
because this is where I am. And I got to spend time with colleagues I never see. And I'm like, you know how much I love my job anyways, but like totally reaffirmed. Like I love the people I work with. I love Blue Wolf as a company. I love their culture. And I just really liked working the booths. But had you asked me like a month before Dreamforce, I would have told you that I was all frusty and irritated that I had to give up 4 hours of my time, like 4 chunks. Like that's a lot. But now, hell yeah. I love that. Giving away swag, talking about what we can do. I love talking to people in from out of country that were like, I don't understand what a Blue Wolf is. That a thing? Is that a product? What are you selling? Like I really enjoyed it. So that was my favorite part.
Yeah, I had the same thing. I worked 2 4-hour shifts back to back in the admin meadow at the admin best practices booth, which again was really interesting because you have people walking, right? Everyone's walking around kind of like zombies. Like, what do you have here? What's your you know?
You can
And
tell
they're
the
like,
newbies the glaze in their
they're like,
eyes.
do you have a list of best practices? I was like, no, like we can just have a conversation.
Yeah.
And so that was like right? So I literally talked to someone who'd been an admin for like 2 days and all they'd done was Dreamforce.
Awesome.
Like
Yes,
2
that's
years, right? And yet
amazing.
still, so then I'm like, ooh, what haven't you heard of? And trying to think of all that stuff. And honestly, the time flew by. Like, yes, my feet hurt. Yes, I got parched, but like, yeah, but like it was
I
so
was
great. And
hungry.
people
Yeah.
came and found me because I was in one place for a period of time, right? So someone came up and like, oh, you helped me with blah 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 blah, and I'm like, that's wonderful. So you have a sticker, right? So then I went from there and I worked in the Community Cove, which worked out great because I worked with Carrie from the UK. So all the wonderful community run events. People were walking by for stickers. That's the draw. We suck you in with this, and then we're like, "Do you go to user group? Where is it? Where do you
Yep.
live? Have you heard of community events?" And she knew the UK geography or like the not US
Yeah.
geography. Let's be real. And
So she was smart.
hey,
Go on.
I'm smart.
Hey, we're all smart, but by and large, Americans are very not great at world geography.
Let's be real. I'm not that great at US geography. It's the middle that gets me. Sorry, Midwest. I love you so much, but like, where's Ohio? I don't. Yeah. So yeah. But we were equivalently successful with US and non-GS. So we were a great pairing. And then we got to talk to people about community events and give them stickers and make them earn it, right? So again, that's 8 hours. Like in Dreamforce time, that's like a decade. But it was great.
That's a lot. That's like 2 days. Yeah. I worked the community booth at Trailhead and freaking loved it. There are chunks of people out there that don't know about the community. And I'm like, but what? Like, I forget. And we've had this conversation ad nauseum. I forget that there is such a big part that people in my company don't know. I made some comment about like the community or MVP or stickers or something when I went into the office last, and someone was like, oh yeah, and like nodded. And I was like, do you know about the WIT user group?
Right.
And they're like, oh, I don't know what that is. I'm like, wow, what? Wow. Because it's not their realm. They were in sales. Like that's not their bag at all. And it just is not in their frame of reference.
Well, and it's funny too. You did your session with Barry, which I had a conflict and could not attend. But when I did make it to the expo, I saw Barry. And so I went to the booth to talk to him because I know him through you, right? And he was so excited. He's like, you were on my Dreamforce picture list and now we can take a picture. And I'm like, what? And also because Blue Wolf had cord tacos, but they didn't know what they were. So he was like testing me. He's like, what do you think this is?
Yes.
And I'm like, it's a cord taco. It
100%.
like wrangles your, and he's like, Where were you an hour ago? They're like coasters with buttons.
Yeah. I thought it was to hold grocery bags. Or it was a really fucked up
I love that I'm
coaster that for some
gesturing
reason would
to
fold in
you
half.
like anyone else is going to understand cord
Yeah,
taco.
no
It's
idea.
basically like a coaster that folds in half, and so you can like wrap a cord in a circle and then put the taco on there so it stays. It's not really called a cord taco, but that's what Kristi calls it, so it is now.
Yeah.
But I have to. I have it on my. I thought of it earlier today because I'm using my cord taco on my iPhone cable and thinking of IBM and Blue Wolf because y'all are the best. So, in general, it is a shame that sessions sort of fall by the wayside, but I'm so excited because so many of them are already on YouTube. Like the Dreamforce video team is rocking it.
Yeah.
What I really love in the admin zone, and I'm assuming in the dev zone, they have the playlists for beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And I will link to them in the show notes where I'm sure everyone goes to read them. But they're probably in a super logical place at like admin.salesforce.com. But for me, it's like for someone new who's never been, it's a what the fuck do I do at Dreamforce list. For me, sorry, W2F.
You know how many times we said fuck already?
For me, it's like a homework list.
Now you're apologizing?
Okay, you broke the seal. So it's not my fault. Blame the mimosa. So for me, it's like a homework list.
Yeah.
Right? And theater sessions are recorded. And other cool stuff was recorded. So I'll talk about that in one of my super faves. Which hasn't happened sometimes.
So Bertuzzi was like, don't be stressed. This is my first time presenting. There's no longer a camera. It's just audio. And I was like, this is my first time presenting. He was like, oh, well, it's less stressful, just so you know. I was like, sure. I'm a little nervous.
Some sessions had cameras, but yeah. So
yeah, I was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, it's mostly probably audio and slides, which is cool. So I think that's great.
I think it's also great. Should we roll into our super faves? Because I believe you have a phone call.
I do. I sent a little, and we're fine.
Look.
But yes.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, that was the thumb gesture for I sent a text message and said I would be late. And I heard party on to wit is the response I got. So
that is amazing.
When I saw this was your super fave, that's what made my super fave. So I'm ready. I'm so excited.
I'm going to swear. Be prepared. Stuart, if you're listening, this part is not suitable for Frank. The fucking Astro pony sticker. I almost lost my shit when Shauna handed me this sticker and then explained it at True to the Core, which I won't get into that.
But you hadn't heard the explanation before?
I had never been to True to the Core. I didn't understand why people loved it so much. Well, I didn't know anything.
Oh my God. Okay, so yours is a sticker, mine is True to the Core. So we can just over talk each other because I can't
do it.
Because number one, I don't know if I realized that it happened at True to the Core. It's just such a part of my vernacular from hearing it that, like Shauna telling Brian, not everyone gets a pony, right? So with lightning, especially, oh, but can it do bleh? Can it do bleh? Look, not everyone gets a pony, right? Like, and that totally makes sense because that's a PM's whole life. Everyone has, oh, this new feature you sweat and blood for. It's great. But does it do this one thing that's important to me, right? So they made a sticker for it. When they talked about it during the session, I was like, there's a fucking sticker, and I didn't get one. And my super favorite MVP winglet, meaning I'm his wingman because he's new, and so I'm his Sherpa in MVP-ness, David Litton in MVP World. David Litton gave me his pony sticker.
What? His only one?
That's MVP friendship love, Salesforce love right there.
You got to tell me. I have a few, and here's why. So she handed out individuals. Not everyone gets this. Then at the MVP party, I brought my sticker binder because obviously, and Shauna was like, would you like a few? And again, squealed like a little girl. Like the first time I was like, oh my God, those. Because I made sure that I got one. And then I made sure that I was collecting stickers for Becca Dente, because she was, being mommy, couldn't make it. Gemma couldn't make it. And Brian Naylor, who was like, I couldn't make it work. So I have those, and I have a couple. So if David doesn't have, let me know. We got to hook him up.
And anyone else who loves Shauna Wolverton and loves the fact that not everyone gets a pony and wants Astro with a little purple pony and or has a sticker problem. Oh yeah, it's
well, and I would have loved it regardless. Like it's a great sticker anyways, but the story is like So
Well, yeah, especially because
just makes
Shauna
it
is
so
okay. Can we
perfect.
talk? Like, this isn't even my super fave, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. Shauna's outfit at the admin keynote, badass.
Right. Lightning
Like,
leather
and just the
pants.
straight hair and the black shirt. Like, she's
Yeah.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
fucking amazing.
She's amazing. She's awesome. And I love anytime I get to spend time with her. She was in Denver not too long ago, and I ended up being able to go to dinner with her and Erica Cool and Blakely and just some other amazing women. And I was like, how am I here right now? Like these are big deal women. And I'm just like, hi, I'm just gonna come meet you. But
Oh, yeah.
they all made me feel, yeah, right. They all made me feel, and especially Shauna, that I've been old friends for years.
Yep. Love it.
Years and years.
Love it. So, True to the Core was actually recorded, which is not supposed to happen, or like wasn't. I'm pretty sure that's never happened before. So we'll link to it. For anyone who's not familiar,
It was awesome.
It started as great. You've got the new shiny new penny over here before Lightning, even right. You've got new fun things. What about the shit that doesn't work from lead conversion, right? And like
Yeah.
email templates, like just the original gangster shit that wasn't working. Like, let's talk about that. So my first Dreamforce, well, not my first, but my first when I like knew what I was doing, sort of in 2000, either 14 or 15. Like I got to ask Parker Harris why the new forecasting tool didn't work with the new territory tool, and therefore I couldn't use the new forecast. Like I can't use your new feature because it doesn't do what I need for my business. What? Like I got to ask the co-founder of Salesforce. Right? Why? And he legit said, like, I understand what you're saying. I took resources away from that for Lightning. It will be a thing. Maybe not in the next few releases, but I hear you. Right? So again, did that solve my problem? No. But what? Like, it's just the greatest lineup of PMs. So they all talk about within their cloud, kind of what they've been doing, what's coming up on the roadmap, and then they take questions from the audience of random wonderful heckler questions. So yeah,
it's so cool.
It's super. There's a Trailblazer community group as well, so it kind of lives on all the time. Not that you're gonna get answers from PMs all the time, maybe, but yeah. So True to the Core with a pony.
So cool. With a fucking pony. Okay, so my next super fave, I was trying to go into the realm of like tech again, because I don't know, like we've talked about before, it's nice to hear about things. This is not a new thing. But as a 40-year-old, Venmo is really awesome. It's so easy. Oh my God, have I said this before? Oh, okay. I was like, oh, that's what happens at 40. This was my super fave before.
You turned 40.
I did.
Right after Dreamforce.
And here's my new favorite thing is I have good genes in my family. So I don't look at, my new favorite thing is to tell people I'm 40 and they're like, what? I went to dinner and she was like, shut the fuck up.
Oh, already? Yeah. I do this for you. I tell people, I'm like, did you realize Melinda's fucking 40? And they're like, she's 26. Right? She has blue
it's my new favorite.
Hair.
I'm riding that as long as I can right now. Like it makes me feel so freaking good. But yeah, Venmo was, I don't know, like a friend of a friend was in town and I was like, I don't know what that is. I'm not even sure if I said I don't know, because sometimes I like to pretend like I didn't know what it was. And
you just are getting to Venmo.
Yeah,
you can
like 2 months ago.
Money with descriptions, with emojis.
Yeah. I sent it to my stepbrother today because he went to the store and I asked him to get stuff for the dessert for Thanksgiving. And I tagged it vegan bougie shit because it's like cashew butter and I need this like vegan butter. So I was like, look, it's a pumpkin spice vegan cheesecake with Oreo cookie bottom.
Almost had me, but pumpkin just, ugh.
Oh, not a pumpkin fan, huh?
Not really. So on the opposite of tech side, my current favorite investment in life is a storm door for my side door, like a screen door. Is that better? Like the door outside the door, except it's not a screen. It's got a window, but it has a dog door. That's why it's clutch. I will say that my dog is currently afraid of the flap, so usually it has a dog hole.
Oh, poor Axel.
Maybe while all the other dogs are here, I should try and put it back on, and then maybe he'll figure out it's okay. But it's been wonderful, especially with more than one dog, because if anyone else is a dog person, like I feel like a third of your fucking life, it's like, oh, you want to go out? Let me open the door. Let me close the door. You scratch the door. You want to come back? No, you just want to go lay out there and tan? Okay, great. Well then, like, don't want to let all the bugs in, right? So of all the home improvement things I've either done or had to do because pipes burst, that like $100 has been a great investment. So especially with 4 dogs, I've legit just woke up this morning because someone whined, opened the door, left the dorm door open, and they've just been going in and out all day long.
Main door.
Perfect. Now, to clarify, I do not do this when I am not home. I don't prefer people who leave their dogs outside when they're not around. Barking is real.
People could steal them.
Well, oh yeah,
Barking
and
is
stealing my
real.
dog. Well, now I'm worried about that. I was just thinking my dog being rude for others.
Oh yeah. Well, Axel's real cute. So
I mean, yeah,
like,
yes, for sure.
I'm just saying. Hey, where are you going to be next, by the way?
Where am I going to be next?
Are you going to be at anything before Southeast Dreamin'?
So
in March,
there's
by the
a
way,
chance
people?
I will be at Tahoe Dreamin'. I am speaking, except there's this whole, hey, remember that time I lost my job factor? So depending.
But like I said, you didn't lose
Well,
it.
it's there. Well, it's kind of not a job anymore.
They were
I was
reformatting.
reorganized
include you.
/ downsized out of a job. So depending on that stitch, that's going to kind of define the next place that I'm at. But no matter what, I will be in Atlanta March 15th and 16th for Southeast Dreamin'. But hopefully before that, because as we've discussed, community is like a third of my soul. So
Yeah. And I miss you already. And I know this podcast is for others, but I'm like, I want to see your face again.
well, and I mean, going to Denver is of course always on the table, except it's a lot.
Dogs.
It's going to start snowing.
Except
a lot.
what?
I mean, the dogs is logistics I can figure
yeah.
out, but like, maybe not in the real snowy snow.
Yeah. January to
It's a commitment.
March
I mean,
is
really,
intense.
if we got snowed in at your house, like that's utopia. That's fine, but it would be nice. Like we have to be able to eat vegan cheesecake or whatever you said.
We have Postmate. They'll bring you meat and cheese.
Well, I'm so excited for everyone we got to see. The fact that people walk up to me and were like, "Oh my gosh, you're Kristi! I listened to you, and you guys are so great!" Like I can't even tell. Like that's never gonna get old for me.
No, it's so fun. I'm glad that other people like our
And
drivel.
loved our tiny stickers and drivel. So thank you to everybody who found us and hugged us and listens to us. That's all she wrote, I think.
And
stay witty.
Whoop.
My favorite thing about Dreamforce 2017, the puppies. Hashtag #puppies to donate.
This is Ricky of Finley of Fin Digital. I love this conference, and the main reason I love it is because of the amount of community that is validated here, the amount of community that is created here, and then that community comes together to be resources for one another with the sole purpose of utilizing this platform to create solutions for companies to be stronger, better, and leaner. And that's just something that is just so fantastic and exciting. On top of it, the amount of empowerment that happens at this conference, the amount of moments people get to be validated, heard, respected, and that listening of customers and partners is a belief that we're bettering this platform to better this country. And that's what Dreamforce always does for me. That's why I love it, and that's why I'll be back next year.